Happy Monday 2027. I got some bad news, maybe some good news. This week is the last week that you're going to have this format of learning, and I'm going to be making these videos for you. After this, we're going to switch to a different website, and you won't get to have videos of me that often. This is like kind of starting the transition of me no longer being your teacher, which is like a big bummer because I'm going to miss seeing all of your faces, which I haven't seen in a really long time, which is kind of weird, right? I want to name before we start this week's lessons that my goal of this week's lesson is that you leave the end of the week more knowledgeable than you walked in the beginning. Obviously, that's the goal every day, but you'll understand in a couple of minutes why I'm kind of setting this goal now. My goal and my plan is that you don't need to worry about what I think, what your parents think, what your other teachers think, or what your friends think. My goal is that you will take this time this week to focus on what you think and what you believe based on what we read. There is zero judgment here. You will believe what you believe, and I will read it. I'm not going to take points off if I disagree with you. I'm only going to take points off if it's not a full and complete sentence. Looking at you, person who doesn't write full and complete sentences. So that's my goal for today. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. And we are going to get started. All right, guys, today is lesson 9.1, Monday, May 25th. Question number 1 for the PDN said, there's a presidential election coming up in November. Who are the 2 people running for president? What is something you know about them? Both should be complete sentences. I don't know is never an acceptable answer. I would rather you take a guess about who you think might be running or who you might have heard is running than just to say, I don't know. So you should have said something along the lines of the 2 people running for president. It helps if I could spell. Are. The correct answer is Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That is sentence number 1. That is not the end of the question. The question says, what is something you know about them? Maybe you don't know a lot about them. There are a couple of things that you should know about them, hopefully, if you were paying attention to any of this information over the last couple of years. So one thing I know about Joe Biden is that he used to work with Barack Obama. You even could have said that he's friends with Barack Obama, and that would have been something that you know. You could have said something along the lines of, Donald Trump is the president right now. That is something you know about him. That is the job that he holds right now. Any of those could have been answers that you gave. The only way I will take points off is if you don't give me a full and complete sentence, or if it looks like you copied and pasted it from Google. Yes, looking at you. Don't copy and paste it from Google. It's not Google's answer, it's your answer. That's called plagiarizing, and it gets you kicked out of college. So let's not do that. Then you move on to the next page. Oh, look, do you understand the expectations? You're watching this video right now. I'm going to name drop at some point. You know it. So you read the expectations, watch the video, answer all questions in a complete sentence, and answer all questions correctly and on topic. Yes, I understand the expectations. If you say no, go back and reread the expectations because you're not being funny. You're just telling me that you don't know what you're supposed to do, and then I have to delete your assignment and send it back to you. Then I got to text mom or dad or grandma and be like, hey, they didn't do this assignment. So just make sure you get it done right. Capiche? Capiche. Click the expectations box, go to the next page. This is where the video is. You've obviously clicked on that. Today, we are going to focus on Joe Biden. I have planned out this week. So every day we learn about a little bit of information about each different person. So today's focus is just on Joe Biden. So we're going to read through the text. You're going to take your opinion and you're going to place it off to the side for right now. We're going to focus on what the text says and the information we can pull from that. We're going to go ahead and write a gist at the end of this. So I will read it to you out loud. Paragraph 1 is childhood. Super tiny. So I will read it for you. Joe Biden was born on November 20th, 1942 in the city of Scranton, Pennsylvania. His family was a blue-collar family, which means that they were manual, physical workers, and they didn't have a lot of extra money. They taught Joe a lot about perseverance and hard work, which helped him throughout his life. He got made fun of a lot because he had a stutter, but he eventually grew out of that. He went to a prestigious private high school and played football, even though he was very small compared to the other players. College and law school. Joe went to the University of Delaware, where he majored in history and political science. He continued to play football and even said he was more focused on sports and socializing than he was on his studies. But college was where he started to get really interested in politics. He decided to go to Syracuse University for law and became even more interested in politics, even though he was still not a great student. Write your gist right there, please. Remember, the gist is, what are these two paragraphs about? Question number 1. What 2 values did Joe Biden's parents teach him about that helped him be successful? Must answer in a complete sentence. I literally gave you the sentence right there. So you would say, Joe Biden's parents taught him, and then fill in the blank with what's there. It's mentioned in the text, so go back and find the answer in text. Joe Biden's parents taught him, you fill it out, that helped him be successful in life. Make sure you put 2 values. Values are things like grit, responsibility, energy, appreciation, and teamwork. Those are values. There are other values that they mention up in the text. Go back and finish it and read it. In paragraph 1, what does the term blue collar mean? Must be a full and complete sentence. Blue collar means, finish the sentence for me, please. Moving on to the second part of the text. We're going to write a gist for this, so let's read carefully. Politics. After law school, Joe Biden began his political career by running for and winning a bid for city council. After that, he ran for U.S. Senate as a member of the Delaware Democratic Party and won in an upset, which means that he wasn't expected to win. This made him the 5th youngest senator in U.S. history. He was only 29 years old at the time. He was younger than me. He was a member of the Senate for 37 years, from 1972 all the way until 2009. He ran for president in 1988, but took himself out of the race when he began to have health problems. He did a lot of work in special committees and is well known for his role in withdrawing troops from the Iraq War. Withdrawing means to pull out. His Senate career ended when he became the vice president to 44th President Barack Obama. Now it's going to talk about vice president. Before he was chosen as the vice presidential nominee, Biden again ran for president in 2007. But he did not win the Democratic Party nomination. He impressed Obama, though, who chose him as his running mate. He won the election with Obama in both 2008 and 2012, serving 2 terms or 4-year sections in office. So they served for 8 years, 2 4-year sections. He was instrumental in a lot of policies, especially foreign policies in Iraq and Afghanistan. In his second term, he worked with Republican Mitch McConnell to stop the financial crisis and also helped pass laws that increased gun control. Please write your gist for these 2 paragraphs. These 2 paragraphs are about what? Who, what, where, when, why. Question number 1, what experience did Joe Biden have to be qualified to be the vice president? Joe Biden was qualified to be the vice president because what did you read about that was like, oh, wow, of course he'd be the vice president? He was qualified because he did these things. What things did he do that you think made him qualified to be the vice president? Qualified means he deserved the job or he was capable of doing the job. Question number 2. What were some of Joe Biden's accomplishments while he was vice president? So not before he was vice president, but while he was vice president, what are some things that he accomplished? Some of Joe Biden's accomplishments were, what are some things he was able to achieve or do while he was vice president of the United States? This is a good one. It's a CER response. Based on this information, in a CER response, what qualifies Joe Biden to be president of the United States? Not vice president. Based on what you have read so far today, what qualifies him to be president of the United States? You would start it off by saying Joe Biden is qualified to be president because, and then tell me why, based on what you read, he's qualified to be president. Then give me the text evidence to back it up, and then explain what this tells me. you are not able to submit this answer unless it's a full CER response. So if you write one sentence, I'm going to send it back to you and ask you to redo it. It says it's worth 1 point right now. I'm going to make it worth 5. Maybe I'll make it worth 4 points, because that's what we've been doing our CER responses off of. So then it goes down to the checklist. Is the question above a CER response? Yes or no? I watched the video. Yes or no? Sentences are complete answers are complete sentences. Yes or no? Answers are on topic and correct. Yes or no? If you say no for any of these, you're getting your work deleted and sent back to you to redo. So you better make sure you go back, check all 4 of these responses, make sure you did these 4 things, and then click submit right here at the bottom. If you don't do that, I'm deleting the work and I'm sending it back to you to redo. And then I got to text someone and be like, hey, this person didn't do his or her work. Can you please have them redo it and make sure they put a CER response at the bottom? And then you got to do the same thing twice. If we want to have a little bit of free time later, maybe watch some SpongeBob, we've got to just do the work once, not twice. So do it right the first time. Capiche? Kaposh. Click submit and you're good to go. Hope you guys have a great Monday. I will see you tomorrow on Tuesday for some more lessons.